You are now listening to For All Nerds Show, a podcast about geek and pop culture from the perspective of people of color. For All Nerds is hosted by DJ Benhameen and Tatiana Jones. For All Nerds Show is a member of the Loudspeakers Network, where we always say rest in peace to our founder, Combat Jack.
For All Nerds Show is powered by our listeners. Everything we do, from our podcasts, live events, our website, are all independently funded. Please continue to support us through our Patreon page at patreon.com/forallnerds.
I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say.
Great, another broken white boy for us to fix.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I can do this all day.
Wakanda forever!
And welcome, Internet, to another episode of Views from the 616, the blackest MCU podcast in the multiverse, powered by For All Nerds, where we discuss everything in the MCU from the perspective of people love color. And it is one of your hosts, Tatiana King, a.k.a. Dr. Doing Something Strange for Some Change, a.k.a. Coldest Winter Soldier Ever, Doc Aki Tesseract Thompson, the Book of Ashanti, and Tatiana Kang, the Conqueror. And as always, I'm joined by my incredible co-host.
It's your boy, DJ Benhameen, a.k.a. Dr. Stephen Slane, the Sorcerer Supreme, Clientele, Baron, Modred Locks, Black Goliath, Benhameen, the Living Amplifier, Benhameen, DJ by Night, Black the King Kirby, he who entertains here in the spaceship tonight. Are you not entertained?
I don't know, bro, but we'll talk more about that because tonight we saw a somewhat advanced version copy, slightly advanced screening of Ant-Man Quantumania.
Shout outs to Disney. It wasn't the IMAX, it was a beautiful
It wasn't
theater.
an IMAX, so we got the big, even though the projection was way too high than it should have been. So my neck was looking up a little bit. I'm a little short. I'm only 5'4", so
I was good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, we saw that.
We did.
Do you want to go first? The first impression, not even first impression. One sentence to encompass how you feel about this film, or how you felt since we just saw it a few hours ago.
Very much whelmed.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys. I overhyped this film. I after seeing it, it's just like, damn. And when I say overhyped, I don't mean Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, even though I never hyped up that film, but when I say overhyped, I mean it's not as annoying as Thor: Love and Thunder was. It's not as corny as Thor: Love and Thunder was, but it's not too far from it. Let's say this, in the timeline of Ant-Man movies, this fits right within it. It's right on the same level. I mean, it's the same people of writing it, same group doing this. So it feels like all the Ant-Man films you have watched thus far, to its detriment or otherwise. And I think that it was a fairly inconsequential film and was probably not necessarily the right vehicle to bring in Kang.
All right, well, is there something we could talk about that we liked about this film before we get into the nitty-gritty of it all? Sure.
No, of course. I really enjoyed the way the film looked, mostly. Mm-hmm. I think Disney, Marvel, but they do a hell of a job with world building. I think they're just one of the top groups that do know how to world build, that do know how to take you out of whatever you think reality is and putting you into literally the multiverse, putting you into the quantum realm as we see in this film, putting you into these situations with creatures and people and beings and flora and fauna that you would not find anywhere else, albeit the comic book is based on, right? Like, you just don't see a lot of this type of world building, save for perhaps in our Avatar. And this film had a lot of like Avatar elements in that world building approach to it. So in that way, it was lots of beauty in it. It was lots of great looking and imaginative imagery that I saw, for sure.
Yes. I second that emotion. I thought for the most part, especially seeing it in IMAX, it was a lot of big screen spectacle.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. I also thought, see, that's getting into things I didn't like. So I'm going to stick with that. Like, I thought the CGI looked pretty good for the most part, you know? For the most part, I thought it was really well done. I enjoy Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. I think, you know, at this point, he's been doing it long enough where he has a good handle on the character, or his version of Scott Lang, at least. And, you know, it's entertaining. And he's always entertaining.
That's something else I'll add in terms of things I like. I enjoy Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd as an actor. Yes. I like him as Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man in the context of the MCU. Mm-hmm. Great. Wonderful. Michael Douglas and the rest of them, cool. I don't really care about the Wasp, but you know, that's another story. And
that's kind of personal. I like.
No, it's not personal. Yeah. I just don't really.
Oh, care. Even in the MCU, outside of her.
I'm talking about the MCU. I don't really care.
Okay. Well, yeah, I feel you. They haven't done much. That's for me, though.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about the actor outside of what they've been doing. I'm talking about in the MCU as a character. I just don't really.
And they have not done enough to really establish themselves, or establish her character, I would say. Now, as for Kang. You know, the elephant in the room, as they say. I was already, as you saw, the only part I said I didn't overhype was just seeing Kang. I was still hyped to see him. So hyped. I would continue to be hyped even throughout, because Jonathan Majors is a hell of an actor, number one. Yes. And number two, I liked his characterization of his version of who Kang is, and the Kangs, as you will see. And his first entry in Loki with He Who Remains, that I literally still quote his lines to this day. I quoted that line to Benhameen before we left the theater. So you came to he said, so you came to kill the devil. Like, I enjoy him. He's entertaining, and I'm talking about Kang the character, but that Kang was very entertaining. And when you start mixing that with Jonathan Majors as an actor, he's incredibly charismatic. So his delivery of Kang, be it anger or vengefulness or silliness and jokes and all these different aspects, Jonathan Major has the range. Mm-hmm. He has the range to, and this isn't a spoiler or anything. People know this. There are multiple versions of Kang. They said that at the end of Loki. He Who Remains said so himself. There's a lot of me, and I'm the best version of all the me's, right? He said that. So the nicest for sure. But my point is that he delivers that. Like, you can see how Jonathan could play literally 80 different versions of Kang, and each one being unique to it in and of itself. So from this to the perspective of Kang, great. No, I don't really have any issue there. No, I thought whenever he was on screen, it was the best parts of this film.
Absolutely.
Every time Jonathan Majors was on screen, it was always the best parts of this film.
Absolutely.
I thought that this version of Kang that we meet, this Kang the Conqueror, who we meet in this film, was, you know, a very good version. I love the costuming on Kang in particular. I thought the
costume looks fire.
Looks fire.
Costume is slick. I mean, and it's pretty much from the comics, but, you know, with more slick. And I didn't even realize that fit could look that slick in live action, but it do. Like, they really did it up, and it don't look goofy or nothing. Like, it really looked like prestigious. Like, this is his man's battle armor. Like, it looks good.
Yeah. And like you said, Jonathan Majors is a hell of an actor, and every scene he's in, you know, he elevates because of that. Whether or not the writing is good around him or not. I thought.
Just be honest, Benhameen. I'm just being honest. Come on, Benhameen. Be honest. Be honest.
Like I said, I enjoyed when Kang was on screen. Mm-hmm. For the most part. Once again, that was another thing that I had to say, for the most part. So I've said I like the CGI. I like Kang. I thought Paul Rudd was good. I think, of course, Michael B. Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer are some of my favorite actors.
Michael B. Jordan, and Michael Douglas put together. I love it. That could be your new AKA. Just Michael Douglas. Just Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, they're legends in the game.
Legends.
I was actually looking at Michelle kind of hard this film, because, like, she has a lot of camera time, and she's a really beautiful woman. Like,
oh yeah. Oh,
I didn't really notice much until until this movie. I was like, damn, she is actually
Oh
really
no,
pretty.
go back to Catwoman. Like
And that's what I
Michelle
was
is
thinking
a
of. I was
fucking
just thinking of
stunner
Catwoman. Every time I
from
saw
a
her, I was like,
kid.
damn, nah.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
baddie.
she's kind of a dime piece. So
Dime. The Fabulous Baker Boys, I think, is another one that I love.
I don't know that.
Woo! She's steamy.
Yeah,
She's
but Michael Douglas, he's a very, at least in this movie, he's very a beloved character himself. So,
They play
and he
that man
still
out.
has the beloved, oh, grandpa, why did you say such things type of approach. So,
Man.
yeah. But those are good things.
Yeah, him, like, once again, like with Jonathan, they elevate every scene they're in, whether or not the writing is good around them or not.
All right, so go ahead, Ben. That's why I try to help you by saying just say a statement first, and then we'll build off of that. But now you,
okay.
You don't want to.
I think that the biggest problem, and this is something we've discussed before, on Views from the 616 in general. All right, one, like, my first thing is, I think that because they had such an extraordinary run leading up to and including Endgame for me, that it's tough after that, right? And now with all the different projects they have going on at once, including the TV and all these films, it's tight, to get great story every time. So that's the first thing. And because of that incredible run, I give them some grace, right? Now, I think one of their issues now is that they are so focused on, like, the big picture, on, phases and this and that, instead of, like, what happens in each one of these that gives it a complete story. And it's really interesting to me to see that because, like, when we talked to Malcolm Spellman, right?
Yep.
He talked about how Marvel has, these plans and, like, not a plan, but they have a formula. And, like, you can even Google, like, Pixar's formula for movies, right? And they'll show you Pixar's put it out there. This is how we do it every time. And when you see it, you're like, damn, they do that every time. And that's how they get me. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do these things. And they do those things every time in their movies.
And consistent.
And yeah, and it gets you. And it's like the story can be different, etc. But it's always these points have to be hit. And they say Marvel has a similar checklist. And it feels like they're not hitting that checklist now because these things are just not hitting, to me at least, in the same way. And judging by the reaction from a lot of people coming out of the theater and the people we talked to, it was the same thing. And the one sentence statement of it is that Marvel is now just making commercials for their next movie instead of making movies in of itself.
Yeah. And the screening was filled with not just press. There were just regular moviegoers in there too. And we were getting the same, and like even like not even talking directly to people, just listening to them. Like as I'm
the energy was
walking into the ladies' room or walking past people, I was hearing the same conversation over and over again by different walks of life. And they were all like, more or less, they were like, this is mid. Now, when I went and actually looked at the reviews for the first two Ant-Man, okay. The first two Ant-Mans, they both had mid reviews. So I was just like, all right, well then it's tracking the way it's supposed to track. Now it's going to track higher because Kang.
Yes.
I just think there was, and why just to go back to my opening statement about hyping it up too much, I just think some people may be disappointed with how this shakes out. And to further the mention you say about this being a commercial and all this other stuff, I really quickly realized if you took a line, like a trace line, right? Like a tracing tool, and traced around every scene or dialogue that was specifically about Kang or Kang speaking or Kang's story, if you traced and cut that all out, you could literally lift it up and place it in a completely different story, and it would have worked, and probably would have worked better. The Ant-Man story behind it, after everything was said and done, didn't make sense. And it was inconsequential at the end of the day. And I'll go explain how that
I want to know why you say it didn't make sense. I understand fully why you feel it's inconsequential.
It didn't make sense because it was inconsequential. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. Like, I feel all these movies are supposed to matter. As much as it didn't, Love and Thunder was supposed to matter because it was supposed to.
The character's in a different place at the end of Love and Thunder than he starts. That
Great.
it matters in that. It does matter in that. At least it did that.
Way.
It did.
Okay.
This one.
What else did you get out of it? This is one of my point. Like, I don't think it should be that hard to be like, okay, well, what else is so important about this? Like, yes, clearly Kang was the point, but then it's just like, well, then let's do a different type of movie. Why then drag Ant-Man into this? Like, Ant-Man is not serious. He's not serious. And you try to take and that's why I said cut out Kang, because if you remove him, the template that they placed him in is a not serious person. This Ant-Man's a nigga that you always yell be fucking for real to, right? Because he's never for real. Like, and that's the beauty of him. And again, I'm an Ant-Man fan, so that's fine. But it was just didn't seem like it made sense to place then this Kang into that, because then you have to start twisting what we thought this Kang would be to match the kind of silly shit and goofiness that Ant-Man films are known to be.
Like, we discussed this on the episode with the host of Drunk Black History this week, and we talked about how when they introduced Thanos, he immediately kills Loki. So right off the bat, you're like, oh, this man's for real.
Thanos does not fit into the template of what that film was, right? He literally cuts out a nigga out of his own goddamn film.
Yeah.
Understand? So that's like, oh, this nigga means business. So,
yes.
you know, you understand right away.
And with Loki, with Kang, we discussed that. We were like, well, he gonna have to murder somebody. Somebody gonna have to catch this body.
I said, I said that on Twitter. I said, Scott dead 30 times over before we get halfway through the film. No. Technically, no.
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes. But, like, what's so difficult about this is because Kang is a credible threat. Jonathan plays him as a credible threat. But the other characters beyond Janet, I guess Janet is the main one that really truly, and the other supporting characters, I'm not talking about the Ant-Man family, but the other supporting characters around them, they clearly understand and express Kang as a credible threat. For Ant-Man, it's like, all right, he's a threat, but it's just like the same fucking story all over again. And the same tricks that they've pulled in previous movies. Am I wrong?
No. The problem is that, like, Kang is such a serious threat. And like you said, you have to downgrade his power level, basically, because for half of the movie, he is this super serious threat. And then for the other half of the movie, towards the end, it's like, even though, no, and then it, like, at parts of the end, it's like, oh, this man buck wild, like this dude really hard.
But then it's also like, well, why didn't he do that 40 minutes ago?
And then
why doesn't no movie? But
and then why doesn't he do that? At the end either, like,
because this guy's above this, and again, we have to keep remembering, and this is what probably also gonna bother me. This is the fail safe they're always gonna use. Well, there's a different type of Kang that's coming, and the other one's probably worse than the other one, and then. But like y'all told me in this movie, this was the worst of the worst. So worse that the other Kangs banished the nigga. But now he's not the worst of the worst. Like, which one is it? And that's why I'm like, it's like you want your have your cake and eat it too. If he's the credible threat, if he's the one, let him be the one. Like you said, like you I forgot that fucking happened, Ben. Like, you're right. Thanos came in and murked the nigga. I didn't forget that happened. I'm just saying the impact of it. Immediately. It was like, oh, okay. All the things you knew, throw that shit out the window. It doesn't matter what goddamn movie he shows up in. He's fucking it up.
Mm-hmm.
Kang, for this, I was just like, well, oh yeah. He did for a little bit start fucking shit up. And then it was just like, oh, wait, where are we going here? Like, go back to my point. Like, they like twisted him out of what would be his element to make him fit within the confines of an Ant-Man film. And then it was technically, not for real, but technically cleaned up nicely. And I was just like, wait, what? That's how we end this shit? It's like, I'm trying not to give too, like, I don't want to give spoilers, like specific story arcs, but it's just like, it's a bit frustrating. It's a bit frustrating. I just wanted a better vehicle for Kang. I didn't know it was going to be like this, and I should have known better.
I think this doesn't really spoil anything about this film by saying that this film, that if you took, and I won't even say what happens in these end credit scenes. I'll say there's 2 end credit scenes, and if you
Right.
take those 2 end credit scenes and you put them after Loki and never showed me this film, I think it would have the same effect.
It would have the exact same. And inconsequential.
Inconsequential. In the worst way. Like, because even though, and like, I don't want to blame the recasting of Cassie, because I don't know if the other actress could have, pulled off a better part of this, but I did not feel the connection that I felt between Cassie from Endgame and Scott Lang, and Cassie and Scott Lang in this. Their chemistry just was not there for me. It was more like,
I agree, but I wonder if it's that, or is it more so that it's being overused tremendously, this film. Every 5, Ben, I really want to sit there and look at the script because I want to count. I'm going to put a pink highlighter every time he's yelling about my daughter, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. I get it, fam. You don't do nothing in life unless it has, like that is your guiding light in your life, your daughter. Understood. But it's just
that was like the first line of the script.
That was the first line of the script. And then continue to be the driving force, the momentum, the antagonist, the protagonist, the underpinning, the overpinning, the Uchi, the Wally. It was everything. And I'm like,
the one mic.
I was just like, okay, I get it. And I just felt like, and that's why, and I'm bringing this to your attention, Ben, because I'm just like, I wonder if it was so much, was it chemistry, or was it because they were overplaying it so much? This movie did a lot of overdoing it on
a bit
the
of A and a
same
bit of B.
themes. This movie did a lot of it did a lot of overdoing it on the same things, like, and being corny about it, like hope. How many fucking times can you give me a euphemism of hope, like, and try to say it in like, using inflection in your voice, like I don't fucking get it. I'm not stupid. The
funniest thing about that is that comes up a lot because there's a character named Hope in the X-Men comics, and when I'm reading it, I'm like, all right, I get it. A lot of times.
That's how I felt, and it. If this was the first time they did that, I let it slide. Y'all niggas did this 2 movies ago. Like, come on. And I think they played. I'm sorry, y'all. They played it's my daughter Cassie. I gotta go get her. They played that card already.
When?
What are you talking about? When Scott came back, I lost 5 years with my daughter. When he saw his daughter grow up before his eyes, and he was, how the part that actually made me cry. Yeah. Like, they played that card. They firmly cemented in my head that this is his everything. I get it. But then, like I said, you're dragging it, son. My daughter, Hope, Kang. Like, I was just like, okay. It's just like
we had a deal.
we had a deal. Like, we had a deal. Here's my other thing.
Hey, this nigga is a villain. Like,
my other thing. Right, like, what do you expect? Like,
did you read the script?
He's a villain. But anyways, my other thing where I feel like I've noticed since Thor: Love and Thunder, maybe even before that, I just felt like some of and I'm not talking about darkness or adultness of these movies. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the intelligent humor that I felt like was more apparent in a lot of the previous films has now given way to more quick shots that appeal more to younger kids. And there's nothing wrong with appealing to younger kids. It's just when you're
do it well.
Right, do it well. Like, it's littered with it and it's not done smartly. Pixar movies you made, I'm glad you mentioned Pixar earlier. Mm-hmm. Pixar movies are kings at that. Like, stuff that, you're like, oh, that's silly, but you get it on another level. There's depth to the jokes and the humors, even if it's quote unquote potty humor, there's still depth to it. It's done really smartly, and I just felt like in the last few Marvel movies, I just be getting like the non-effort type of jokes. Like, my like my kid's gonna find this funny, and then I'm just like, ha ha, okay.
I mean, like, there was a different level, but you had, you also have, I don't know, a lot more rougher jokes too. A lot of jokes that might not pass right now because people have gotten a little bit more. It's.
I don't think it's because people are conservative about it. I just think it's just something. It's different. It feels different.
It was definitely a more adult humor, like in Avengers when Tony starts trying to pick up the hammer and he's like, if I get the powers of Thor, first thing I'm doing is reinstating prima nocta. I think it's prima noctis, the rule of a king being able to come in and sleep with any man's wife. You know, that's the joke he makes.
You can't be saying shit like that.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? But they got away with it then. But now more eyes all eyes on me. No, even then they got caught on it. People were like, "Yo, that's
I didn't
wild."
know what that mean. I still didn't until you said it.
Yeah, people were like, "That's wild." You know, I can't believe they had that. But then you're like, "Well, it's Tony Stark and it fits." And that's why I always talk about Iron Man 3, because Iron Man 3 is written by Shane. Can't remember his last name. But he's the same dude who wrote Lethal Weapon and everything. So he's a very intelligent writer, and he wrote all those jokes. Like, he has this little kid in this film, but Tony just clowns him through it. You know, so it's really taking apart that whole idea, oh, the cute little kid comes in the movie. So that's why I love Iron Man 3 versus this type of humor where it's...
And again, I want to make it clear, it's not...
I didn't laugh.
Benhameen did not laugh once. And I even giggled a few parts.
And y'all know me. I roll and all kind of stuff.
And let me clear, this was a movie, right? Like, you're going to get entertained. I feel like this has low rewatchability, though.
Ooh, super.
This is lower rewatchability. I don't rate it as low as I did Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder was like...
I'll never see that again.
Hard to watch at period.
I wanted to walk out.
Like, as I was sitting there, I was like, I want this kind of stop.
Yes.
Whereas in Ant-Man, I didn't feel like that, but I was just like, oh, this is kind of mid.
I want this to kind of stop.
No, that's how I felt at Love and Thunder. Like, I was crossing my arms, I was sliding down.
I was like, like, when will this movie be over?
And Ben just kept laughing louder and louder because he knew like that shit was not good. This one, I got like, it was silent from Ben.
That's what I mean. It wasn't even bad where I could laugh at it.
Like, for me, I was just like, I was following it. Like, I didn't, I still enjoyed my time at this. I didn't see it for it like that. It was mid. I'm sorry.
I was so disappointed. Like, and the first, like, we bought out, and the first two Ant-Mans, I think that I can, if they're on TNT, whatever, you know, and I'm cleaning my house, I won't turn that shit off. You know, I'm not going to turn to something else. I'm going to wait for the basketball game to come on, because you know the game coming on after the Marvel movie, so I'm going to wait. If this one's on, I'm turning over to Hulu. You know, I'm seeing what else is popping until the game comes on, because I'm going to be so disappointed that I don't want to see this shit again. And there was so much of this film where I'm sitting in the theater and I'm like, maybe it'll pick up. Maybe it's going to get better.
You know what, Ben? I would prefer a supercut of just Kang scenes.
Yes. But even they weren't like, where I'm like,
I would prefer a supercut. I'm not saying that makes the movie. I would have preferred a supercut of just Kang scenes. And honestly, if someone, once this comes out, if someone just did a supercut of the Kang scenes, you've seen the movie, because there's nothing else that matters. There's nothing else that, like, and that's why I'm so hyped and frustrated in the opposite, because it's nothing else really mattered. And then it's just. I don't know, bro. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. What did you think of MODOK?
A reach.
I just kept saying what?
Like,
what? And I won't reveal everything that goes on. Oh no, they oh, it's on IMDb.
That's already out there. That's already out there.
Corey Stahl plays MODOK, and Corey was Darren in what, the first one?
Yellow Jacket. Darren Yellow
That was
Jacket.
the first one though, right?
Yes,
or was
the very first one. And he shrunk away in that one.
Oh God.
So through that shrinking away, he has now somehow been transformed into the MODOK character, who is a completely different character in the comics. And
and I don't care about changing origins or different
I don't either.
characters. But Ben, when he was going through the explanation, I just kept saying, and I thought you heard me, I just kept saying, what? What? Because I thought you were responding to me like, oh, that's so, like, I wasn't saying what, who's that? I was saying what, like, incredulously. Like,
yeah,
did they?
Me too.
Once again, what I said earlier, some stuff just didn't make sense. I was like,
yeah,
why are we doing this? To shoehorn, and why? Listen to what I said. You're shoehorning a character into this template that may not fit into this template.
Yes.
And I understand it's also could be the writer's idea that MODOK is unserious, right? And I don't know if you watched the Hulu series, he's kind of unserious.
Super unserious, yes.
You know what I mean? So, like,
but
they're not going to give us any, and you don't have to give it a serious tilt. It's just like,
I mean, I get
This
it.
is weird.
This giant, big-headed man who's only designed for killing is kind of goofy. But
it's goofy, but then why put him in the movie? All you're going to do is make a joke about it. But then that goes back to what I was saying about bad jokes.
And it's like, why would Kang having such a sucker worker for him if he's...
Well, all villains have sucker henchmen. We all know this.
True.
Starscream.
But,
like,
I mean, Thanos
Starscream did more than that. But
and Thanos rolled with a crew. Them cats was not suckers.
No, they were Ebony Maw and the rest of them. No, not
Yeah.
at all. His children. No.
Yeah.
But they was beat. They
were beat. I mean, I can get beat. I just don't want you to be a sucker before you get beat. You know?
No, Mance was a sucker. And then the dialogue being...
Mance was a sucker.
The dialogue was not sucker free, so it's just made it worse.
No. And not sucker free like Mance who was singing with DJ Quick, the legend. No. I'm talking about sucker free as in, full suckers. Just that shit was it. Yeah.
I don't know, Ben. Like, it was... How would you rate? What would you think about? Let's look at some other stuff, like the scoring of the movie, the music, the sound, the way it made you feel, and audibly. How did it make you feel? Did you feel
cool.
anything?
It was cool, I guess. It was like, yeah.
That it didn't. Was it just what you?
I remember at the credits when it was like music by and music supervisor, and I was like,
what does that face mean for people who can't hear the face you just made? What?
I was like, word, like, but my job is done here. But you didn't do anything.
That's how I felt about this film. But you didn't do anything.
My job is done here. Oh, we gotta make that meme.
If you like Scott Lang and this Ant-Man, you're still gonna like him after this. So fucking what? Like, it's just like, what else?
The nigga been in like 10 movies. How do you not like him by now? Like,
and again, it's some of a lot of the same old tricks that had been played in Endgame, had been played in previous movies that they rehash that helps him win the day. And I'm just like, again? Against Kang?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like this guy's supposed to be OP. And granted, he's not the only Kang, but he's supposed to be OP Kang, I thought. And maybe I had the wrong guy. Maybe I had I clearly had the wrong guy. The way he was billing it.
Yeah, the way they build it. This is the one.
They said that 50 fucking times. This is the guy. This is the guy the other Kang said, nah, you dragging it. This is the one.
I mean, that's why they all had to team up to stop this one. And now everyone got to deal with the other ones. It's like, but I thought this was the bad one.
But
and this bad one.
And we're not going to say it, the way this Kang got taken out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This bad one can't even handle Ant-Man.
Scratching my head.
Yeah, it's like, I mean.
Doesn't make sense. Now you understand when I say don't make sense. Don't make sense.
Okay. Yeah. Now I fully understand. Yeah, no, this movie does not make sense and is inconsequential.
And that's a shame because, again, something I have been pushing about for the longest.
And it's scary because that's the problem, right? Time travel is very difficult, to write. And they did a pretty good job in Endgame of doing it. But now you're dealing with somebody who does not see. I read something about this recently, right? How difficult it is to write people like this. People who don't see the world as we do. It's very difficult to write it.
We are time-bound.
Yeah.
So we can't fathom what it would be like not to be, tied down by time.
Talks a good game, but then he doesn't deliver a good game.
Nope.
He talks about being able to see things to the end, but
he's like, I seen this before. Niggas die every day,
and then I die,
seen it.
and then I get served. Like,
I thought you seen it. And that's why I was also confused about, like, maybe that was a different dialogue choice that shouldn't have happened, and that's why that confused me. Like, I thought this man was omnipotent at one point, and then I was like, oh, nah, he not.
Omniscient, at least. That's why that's why I love Loki so much, because man said, oh, I know you can stab me. Go right ahead if you want. I don't know what happens after that, but I know up to the point of you stabbing me. And, I do know what's going to happen if I'm not here, so do it. While this Kang was like, I know everything, and then, I guess I didn't,
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Guess she killed the devil. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then it's like, I get it. That's so tough to write. But that's the problem when you now have to write, a Kang dynasty and then Secret Wars, which people have all these unrealistic expectations for already because
Y'all
the
fucked me up
comics.
on this. I had the most unrealistic expectation for this, and clearly.
Well, you shouldn't because neither of the comic Secret Wars, like even the Hickman one is very good, but it's so esoteric and not about like big punchy fights and stuff. It's super weird, kind of, and like, I don't think it would really translate. And the original Secret Wars is nothing but big punchy fights, but that's all it is big punchy fights between superheroes. And we've already seen that so many times at this point. So I think people have unrealistic expectations for what these are or what's coming up.
Reset your expectations, at least for this film. Let's reset.
Man, I'm
I
resetting
apologize
for everything from Marvel.
I was the freaking conductor of the hype train. I apologize. Profusely. And now some people might watch it and go, "Nah, that shit was fun." Okay.
Right, yeah, that's on you.
I'm not here to lie to you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you, but
Yeah.
I disagree, my brother.
I disagree. My brother.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree. At the end of the day, it is still a movie. Is it still a movie that you can go eat some popcorn and waste some time? Absolutely, sure.
Oh, why?
Listen, Ben, some people want to do something. It's called spending time or wasting time, and just doing something fun.
You're right. Let me not go that far. There's
doing something
visual.
fun.
Yeah, there's visual. There's some good jokes. I think I chuckled at one point.
I didn't hear a thing, but okay. If you did, it was very low. It was
very low.
Yeah, no.
But there were moments where I was like, oh, that's dope. Especially like involving Kang. Like I say, at points he seemed to be the unstoppable badass that I wanted to see.
I was like, oh, this is gonna go left for everybody else. All the jokes we've been having about we all rooting for Kang and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You still feel that, at least in the first half.
Yeah, and then the points, even the second half, you're like, shit, it's about to get dark for everybody.
At points.
And then it's like, oh, this is a goofy Ant-Man movie.
Yeah. We just got some.
There's a lot of villains. They could have just used MODOK, if they were.
They could have done
goofy.
It's just I'm repeating myself at this point. William Jackson Harper was also in this film. Chidi from The Good Place.
Yep.
What do you think about his character? He played a
wildly annoying.
Ooh, okay.
Like
I didn't bring it up thinking he was gonna say that.
Like Chitty times 10, like, and not in a good way.
Yikes. Okay. Bill Murray is in this as well. He plays a character called Krylar.
Good you on getting that check, bro, but you could have definitely been like, oh, I don't know about that one, like
who, Bill Murray?
No, William.
Oh,
Jackson,
about William Jackson Harper.
I'm like,
I mean, why not? That was an easy check, man.
I know, but at the same time, this is the MCU. If you want to stick around for a while,
or you can do a character like this because you could stick around for a while because there are lots of examples of people who have done secondary characters and then done other characters down the line.
True
so
indeed.
Your foot in the door is your foot in the door. They tell me Tatiana go stand there and be a tree. Well, damn it, I'm fucking Groot's cousin. Like I'm in that bitch.
I'm gonna have to play the hell out of that tree.
Right, and because guess what, you might see me in the next film. Okay, so. I get it. I don't fault him for that.
Yeah, I don't fault him.
Yeah, I mean, Evangeline Lilly, Johnny K plus 8 haircut. I mean, she was doing her thing.
I recently heard that Bill Murray is like kind of a dick and just so it's like when he showed up before I would have been hyped, and now when he showed up I was just like, oh man, look at this dick. So it's like whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It did not.
I mean, it's like 50 years past Bill Murray's prime. It's like, come on, fam. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I just don't think this film just rose to the occasion.
Yeah.
So,
Bill might have a great role still in him. This just was not it.
I don't really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. There's a lot of ants in this film. Lots and lots of ants.
As it should be of an Ant-Man.
As it should be of an Ant-Man film. But then it was like, well, shit, if this was all about the ants, why don't you just say that in the beginning? Which they kind of did because they very heavy-handedly hinted that the ants is going to be the thing for you. at the very beginning. So I was like, all right, cool. Anything else you want to mention about this, Benhameen? Good or bad, indifferent, or something that you noticed that people should really be paying attention to?
Now we said Kang looks cool. Jonathan Majors did a great job. There's definitely, I'm sure there's some Easter eggs I missed.
Scott Lang is Scott Lang.
Well, that thing is showing up in the commercial. The broccoli headed thing, I think, is supposed to be one of the Coatl, who in the comic books at one point their whole world gets blown up by, Dark Phoenix goes into space and goes supernova, makes a star go supernova, and their planet happens to be right there, so they all get cooked. It was a terrible, terrible moment in the comics.
Yeah. I feel like this film was a mixture of Guardians of the Galaxy meets Avatar meets Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yes.
Meets
Mos Eisley. Star Wars definitely. And early on, I was
this is basically a Star Wars. This is basically a giant Cantina film.
Yeah, and early on, I really was like that's the thing. There was a lot of moments early on I was like, ooh, this is this gonna be kind of interesting, to see this version of the quantum realm, you know? And then it was just like
it kind of felt played out after a while.
Yeah, it felt like, well, I've seen this shit,
You've seen this shit, yeah. But
like we all read Dune, dog, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, Mos Eisley, what did I say? Avatar, all this stuff. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. It felt at many times I thought I was in Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, wait.
That's who.
Is this Ant-Man or is this Guardians? Because it was
Thor Ragnarok, it's all those like.
Ragnarok, goddamn.
Yeah, well, the colorful outfits,
the colorful,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Kind of lost. I think it's my disappointment that makes me at a loss for words.
Yeah. I think that's really what it is.
If I ever had to rate it between 1 and 10, I'd probably give it like 7, 6.5, 6.5, 6 and 3, 6.75.
Yeah, about there. Yeah,
something like that.
7, 6.5, 7. Yeah.
We keep going back and forth. The little needle keeps going back and forth for us. I mean,
it's leaning lower. You know what I mean? It's not rounding up.
It's not a bad film per se, but it's also not the best.
No, and there's points in it where there's another thing that I really am getting very distressed with Marvel is like it treats you like you're an idiot. There are points in this movie where they do like flashbacks to things that happened earlier in the movie. It's like, wow. And they show you, like, they don't even mention it. Like, I get it if you just say it, but they actually cut back to those scenes that happened before in this movie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, I just saw that, dog, like, less than an hour ago.
And the movie's not long. Like, it's a solid 2 hours. So,
and it's not like a twist and turns where it's like, oh, remember this? And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
it's
no twist and turn.
This ain't no damn, like, Usual Suspects where at the end, he shows you all the things that made all the bullshit from Kaiser Soze. No, this is just like, they're cutting back to one point, and it's like, dog, I saw that. I know that happened. And it's not that big a deal. So it's like, it's really treating you like you're stupid, and that's sad, man.
Come for Kang, stay for the end credits.
Yeah, I've watched...
That's it.
And I've talked about this on the show because of last year. I watched a lot of foreign films and a lot of foreign TV and stuff, and I just feel like we in America are starting, if not starting, we're really getting jerked. We're really getting treated like we're idiots. A lot of foreign stuff is really stupid too. So that's not just us. Everybody gets treated like they're idiots when they want to be, but oof.
You feel like it's worse now.
I just feel like Marvel, like you said, is really appealing to kids and not even in a good way. Like, in a very, like, even you kids are stupid.
Yeah.
We heard kids in this theater not feeling it. And I know as a kid,
kids are smart, so.
Man, look, as a kid, I saw Transformers, the cartoon, right? And I grew up watching the cartoon, on TV where no one ever died, nothing ever happened. And then I walked into the theater and everyone dies in the first 10 minutes. So it's like, I was well used to that. Luke Skywalker, cats die. Han Solo gets trapped in carbonite. Luke Skywalker gets his hand chopped off and my man tells you he's his father. Like, there's dark ass shit in these films that I grew up on. So, and by 11, 12, I was seeing stuff like I was seeing R-rated films by that point. So, Marvel, this would have been like, oh my God, what is this nonsense? By 11, 12, I would have been calling this movie like, what? Like, this movie is a hot mess.
I mean,
by
Kang
11,
was cool.
12. Yeah, but by 11, 12, I would have been so unimpressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen Die Hard by that point.
Yeah.
I've seen Hans Gruber. You know what I mean? I've seen a villain.
Yeah. Listen, I perked up every time Kang was on.
Yes.
On
I definitely did. Definitely did.
It's just he was the best part. He was the best part.
Yes. He raises it to that 6.57.
Sorry, y'all.
Take him out and oof. I mean, take him out is just like this is. I mean, it's already inconsequential.
Take him out and what does it matter?
Yeah,
what did I say?
Nothing.
See?
Absolutely nothing happened.
Yeah. All right, Ben.
Barely anything happened anyway.
I don't know what else we can do. Like, I don't want to rip this film. It's just also just like
it ain't it.
It ain't it. I am looking forward to Kang Dynasty, I think, but then you told me the same writer for this is involved in Kang Dynasty. So
I mean, like you said, this Avengers, maybe they'll really put their time and effort into it. People write good movies and bad movies. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
So you calling this a bad movie? I said it was just okay.
I said it's a mid movie.
Mid movie, okay.
Yeah, very mid.
All right.
Yeah.
All
Not
right.
bad. Like Thor: Love and Thunder, I thought was a bad movie.
That was bad. Yeah, that was just bad.
Yeah, I thought that was insulting.
Yeah.
I did not think this was insulting. I thought parts of it were insulting. I thought Thor: Love and Thunder was like completely insulting. Like it just treated everyone in that movie like you're a complete idiot.
Like you're a fool.
Yeah.
Take your money.
This was not that. This gave you something for your money.
Something.
Thor: Love and Thunder laughed in your face. Said, "Give me your money."
Yeah,
I'm leaving here with something.
I don't know what else to say about this. That I don't want to come off as.
Let's talk about something else.
Like we're really just trying to
wrap it up, B.
Yeah, I will. I'm just saying. I just wanted to mention, like, we really are critiquing and trying to do this in a thoughtful manner and not just say, "Yo, shit's trash." Like we gotta give you.
Because it ain't trash.
So, yeah,
it's just mid.
But yeah, there is some other stuff you wanted to mention, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to do the honors?
I'm gonna let you kick it off.
Okay, so you might have to kick off because you're gonna have to correct me on some things. So, we told y'all that we had something big under wraps that we could not announce until we had the green light, but now we do. Benhameen and I will be at the National Museum for African American History and Culture.
Hey, hold on. Say it again, damn it.
That's a long way. That's a long name. I said the whole thing like a child cook, but the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. This October 2023, we have been invited to speak as experts in our space at the prestigious, or as we say it in shorthand, the African American Museum.
Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian, okay? So this is some big things, big deal, y'all. Do you have, I don't have the details in front of me about
I do have the details in front of me.
Please give people more information about it.
October 19th, 2023, we will be at the NMAAHC. Woo!
Talking about what?
The name of our panel will be When They See You as Heroes?
When They See You as Heroes. It's actually, our panel's actually based off of things that we've talked about. And, and they told us, we were like, oh, y'all ever listen to us? It's based off of an actual line that Benhameen had said on an older episode, but it's based on our reasoning and approach about how most times, like, if you don't see yourself, and we were talking about Black people particularly, but if you don't see yourself in these stories, if you don't see those types of people in those stories, it's hard to see yourself as well. It's hard to see yourself if it's a hero when you don't see people like you as heroes. So, they took that and ran with it. And and as y'all know, like the whole Afrofuturism exhibit is opening in March. So they've started the process of like talking about that. And I believe that exhibit will still be open by the time October rolls around. So we're part of this whole kind of parade of culture and commentary about Afrofuturism, about fandom, about, heroism, about African American and Black futures. Like, we're part of it, man. And I'm just really excited. I'm really proud. I was shocked when the Smithsonian was like, "Hey, yo, we know you guys. Come on down." So, but I should be shocked, right? Y'all tell us all the time how amazing we are, and it's sometimes hard to understand, and it's just really good to have this recognition.
Yeah, and we've been waiting to talk about this forever. We said we had a bunch of big things. There's still some other things we can't still announce for this year, but we can finally announce this. Yes, at October 19th, 2023, we will be down there. And if you go to the website of the National Museum of African American History and Culture right now, they have the Afrofuturism, A History of Black Futures, opening March 2023, which much more information in their exhibition section. So just go to the exhibition section and it'll tell you all about this exhibit that opens in March. And then we will be doing our panel, discussing Afrofuturism with a bevy of superstars in the house that day, October 19th, 2023.
I'm excited.
I'm beyond excited. Like I like, just like you, I could not believe it when they hit us up. I was like, ain't no way this is really what I'm reading this, right? This is really, I've never even been in the museum yet. I know you've been there, and so this will be my first time going. Well, I'm going to hopefully get down there before then
I've
to
been
check
there
it out.
once, but it's you need a whole day and maybe two because it's not enough. It's not enough time. And I got through a lot of it, but it still wasn't enough. I still didn't get to see absolutely everything.
So, and this time we're there doing a panel.
Yeah, so when all the details come out about like tickets and all that other stuff, we'll let you guys know. But again, appreciate my podcast partner Benhameen for being amazing and helping us bring us to this space, and for everybody who's listened to us, who's supported us and continue to do so. Really appreciative of you. Thank you very, very much.
Word up, and thank you, Tatiana, for doing the same, and thank you for everyone who's been on this journey with us to this point. And on into the future, because, we have much more coming. And on that note, we also have our merch site, ForAllNerds.com, where you can get all kind of stuff like this Galactus and Friends shirt or sweatshirt like I'm rocking right now. And we have a bunch of new fire designs coming to close out Black History Month. So look out for them. We'll let you know when they go on sale, but you can still get some designs right now, ForAllNerds.com. Thank you to everyone who has supported us over there. It means so much now that we have this site going that y'all support us over there. Please hit us up. This is Black owned exclusively. This is finally this ain't like our other merch where, it was just, it was nice, but there was no profits, so now you're supporting us directly. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting us over at patreon.com/ForAllNerds. New patrons coming. We got a new patron-only episode coming, I don't know, probably sometime next week, very soon, before February's out, before my birthday, which was end of the month, just in case you wanted to know, February 27th, coming up very soon. Pisces season, right around the corner. We in here, we out here. So, make sure you check us out over there at patreon.com, where you get exclusive episodes, plus exclusives to all kind of other stuff, giveaways, all that stuff. We got a Lovecraft Country giveaway coming very soon. That's going to go out to our patrons over at patreon.com/ForAllNerds. So make sure you're over there, because we are about to interview the author of the Lovecraft Country novel and the sequel, Destroyer of Worlds.
Matt Ruff coming back for the win.
Coming back, just in case you didn't know that, we interviewed Matt Ruff, the author of Lovecraft Country, before there ever was a Lovecraft Country show.
Way before.
Because that's how we do things here. And now we're bringing him back because he has a sequel to the book that I already got to finish. It's dope. It's fire. And we'll be giving away some copies of that very soon. So, it's a lot of things happening over here, as always.
Yep. And make sure you're always following us, For All Nerds, in order to listen to Views from 616, our MCU-focused podcast, as well as all of our other podcasts that we speak on. We talk about the culture. We talk about fandom and how the culture collide. That probably should be our new tagline. I like that. I am at Tatiana King. He's at DJ Benhameen. If you want to watch us, say what up to us, look at my thirst traps, listen to his music. We got it all for you. We're happy. This is great. But not this movie. Love you guys. See you later.
Rest in peace to Trugoy, a.k.a. Dave, a.k.a. Dove. Love to the family and friends of De La Soul and fans everywhere. Peace. Thank you.